it's been quite a while since I've actually spent any time talking about add-ons, but I've found one that I absolutely love, and it's not got that many downloads in the grand scheme of things. If we look on Curse, at the time of recording, it's only had 45.3k downloads, which honestly is really low for how good this is and how good it looks. So it's called CDTL2, which is Cooldown Timeline. And jumping in game, it's this single bar that I've got here, which shows ready 25%, 50%, 75%, and 100%. So this is your cooldowns as you use them. Now, it can be really useful for some classes and maybe not as useful for others, but you can customize this a lot. So if I show you just how mine works for now, so if I use my Holy Shield, it goes on cooldown, you can see it slowly move down. If I Judge, it starts following it on, and then if I Hammer the Righteous, that follows along as well. I now know what's coming off cooldown and what's coming off like quicker than the other. Now you can do this with timers, obviously, where you can just have the text on the icon, but I like to have the icon disappear completely. So this setup here is weak auras. The top bar and the bottom bar here are obviously just weak auras, but you could have it so they show on the screen all the time with the amount of time left on the cooldown, or you could just use the standard Blizzard bars, or even Bartender, whatever, you know, and you can see how long's left. I like, if an ability can't be used, I don't want to see it on my screen, but it's good to know what's coming off cooldown next. So I know Holy Shield's coming off next. I then know Hammer of the Righteous and Consecrate were really close together there. I now know Holy Shield and Hammer of the Righteous are probably going to overtake. You get the point. It's really clean and you can visually see what looks like it's going to come off cooldown first. And you can change this about a lot as well, which I'll just show you. So I have my bar like this, but you can do a lot with it. You can even enable extra lanes. So this is a lane. The pink bar that I've got with my cooldowns on is a lane, but you could also have lane 2, which you can customize this however big, small, so change the appearance. You know, the width, you can have it as long as you want or as tall as you want or whatever. So if we just really over-exaggerate this one so you can see what it actually does, this will now track not cooldowns, it will track buff up time. So if I was to use Holy Shield, the cooldown is there, moving along the top bar, and then the amount of time that it's on me for is moving along on the bottom bar. So the same would happen if I was to pop Avenging Wrath. Now, Avenging Wrath, you can see along here as it moves along, and yeah, it's obviously up on me at the moment. So this is a way you can track what buffs are up and what are not. Now, this shows a 3-minute cooldown, so it's not actually showing on the bar. You can change that. So going into the setting and then going lane 1, you can see max time 2 minutes. So it won't show anything over 2 minutes. If we was to then move this up, you can see it's now come onto the bar because it's lower than, well, 141 seconds. I think 2 minutes is about right, and I leave it on that, and that's what it comes as default with. Now, I personally don't use the second lane. You absolutely could, and you might play a class where it's actually going to be really useful to have that second lane and see what's up on you, because it will show buffs, it will show, you know, temporary buffs like Tricks of the Trade or anything like that, so you can really line things up nicely. You can then change the text, so again, on here, I had it as a blank bar, but, you know, lane 2, you can put like this again, or you can change the text completely to whatever you want it to show as on the bar as it's moving along. You might have it as expiring at one end instead of ready, and fresh on the other end, or whatever, however you want to word it. There's also a third lane, which is this one here. Now, it's a really small bar, and this is debuffs. So as you can see, I've got Forbearance on me, so it's moving Forbearance along down there. So if you're a tank and like getting debuffs and stuff like that, it can be very useful, I suppose. It's not something that I feel like I need to see, but if you're a class, as I say, which I wouldn't say you benefit from any debuffs, but, you know, if it's something that you need to see, it's something you need to see. There is that option. So you've got cooldowns, buffs, debuffs, all on separate bars. I'm just going to turn these lanes off because, as I say, I don't use anything other than lane 1 because it sits nicely in between my actual weak aura setup. But you can change the stacking, so if you had a bit more space than I do, where I have it crammed between the 2 bars, if you have more space, you can actually have it so it will group the icons they'll be going along, and you'll have stack stylers grouped. They'll move along, and then you could have it grow, say, down. And now what will happen is if one cooldown overtakes the other, it will move down and around it. I'll show you what I mean. So with Holy Shield up and then Judgment, if I now Hammer the Righteous, you can't see it because it's going under my weak aura there, but it goes down and around as it's about to, you know, come off cooldown like quicker than something else. You could have it go up, or you could have it go through the center. But yeah, I prefer it where it just moves along the bar without anything moving around too much. That's not all. There's actually quite a lot that you can do with this, including having some big buttons when things come off cooldown. Oh, nearly broke the mic. So ready, you can enable a frame name for ready, basically, which you can see is this box here. Now, you can move this around. You can unlock the whole add-on, so you can unlock the frames and you can put them wherever you want. So let's say you wanted ready right up here. So it's really prominent. You know, it's around where you're looking on your screen. Maybe you have your DBM bars up here or something. I don't know. It's where you want to see it. So what you can do now, if I lock those, is when something actually becomes ready, it will show you in that box up there. So you can almost use it as a rotation reminder, if you like. So I know, oh, that's ready, use it. You know, and then we'll wait. Judgment's ready, use it. Hammer of Righteousness ready, use it. You know, so you're always just trying to keep this box empty, which actually, especially for a prop Paladin, could be very, very good for like trying to maximize threat, because it is a very set rotation. But again, I don't use this add-on to its full potential. I don't use that bit either. Now, as you'll see here, they do also play sounds when they're ready. So if you want to know when something is off cooldown, you know, you can have it playing a specific sound. If you're like me and you like to play audibly, I have my weak auras play the sound instead, but you can absolutely just do it with CDTL2. So you can also have bars. So like you can see, there's 3 sets here. So we've got 1 bar there, 2, 3. So all of these correspond to your lanes. Because I'm only using 1 lane and I'm not using lane 2 and 3, which was buffs and debuffs, we can get rid of the bar 2 and 3 and just use bar 1. Now, basically what bar 1 will do is it will show any longer cooldowns that don't appear in lane 1. So if we was to go in and just change lane 1, so it only shows cooldowns, let's say 10 seconds. That's it. It'll only show things 10 seconds or less. Now you can see straight away Avenging Wraths there. If I get anything up with a longer cooldown than 10 seconds, first of all, it will go on the bar up there, and then it will slowly, once it reaches, you know, under 10 seconds, it will then move on to lane 1. So this is particularly useful for tracking longer cooldowns if you wanted this being quite short. So you didn't want it to just be cluttered with things that are on cooldown for like a minute. You don't want to see those. You can just have it literally set to, let's say, 10, 15 seconds. So it's a very short-term tracker, and the longer-term trackers will be on this bar. Now, obviously, you could move this bar wherever you wanted just by unlocking the frames and then putting the bar, say, down here. But I find this add-on a very clean way of tracking all buffs, debuffs, cooldowns, absolutely everything. And when I say clean, I mean a really nice visual way as well. Just need to put this time back up because I actually like it on 2 minutes. And not much of a fan of the bars, to be fair. I don't feel like I need the bars. As long as I know it's under 2 minutes, I can see when it's going to be coming off cooldown here. Because, again, it also actually does have the physical number on it, so you know exactly when it's going to come off cooldown. But it's nice to visually see it. And it's the same with the ready buttons. Obviously, ready 1 will basically tie to your lane 1, ready 2, lane 2, ready 3, lane 3. They all just match up together, and you can customize this a lot however you want. As I say, I'm probably not using it to its full potential, and I'm sure you'll be able to play about with it, you know, integrate it into your current UI. But honestly, I think it looks fantastic. It's really good. And you might just look at it and be like, oh, I don't really need it. You might not need it, but trust me, at least try it. Because once you've tried it, you'll be surprised how that visual element to it really, I don't know, it seems to do a lot more for me personally than just seeing a number on an icon. You know, knowing, all right, that's got 6 seconds left. When you can see it coming towards the end of the bar so you know it's going to be ready, I don't know, it feels a lot better for me. I'll put a link to the add-on in the description below so you can just go straight to Curse and download it. This is not sponsored by them or anything, you know what I mean? I just found this add-on and I really like it and I want to share it with you guys. So yeah, as I say, be sure to like and subscribe and roll the outro. There's lots of ways you can support the channel to keep me here putting out World of Warcraft content and covering all future MMOs. Consider joining the channel as a member. You get access to emotes, everyone will know you're a member when you comment on future videos because you get a nice icon next to your name, and you get access to members-only videos, which I'll be putting a lot of on the channel throughout the year. Additionally, there's a Patreon link in the description as well. Thank you for watching all the way to the end, and I'll see you on the next one.